Blood pooled at my feet. His final warning came too late for the love I had already lost. The metallic tang hit my nostrils like a slap, mixing with the relentless downpour that turned the alley into a river of regret. Harry's voice echoed in my skull. Not the tender whispers we'd shared under Brooklyn Bridge sunsets, but a guttural scream. You were never enough. Chris. Never fucking enough. I staggered back against the graffiti-scarred brick wall. The switchblade he'd pressed into my hand now slick and forgotten in the gutter. It wasn't suicide. Not really, just the desperate slash of a heart too broken to beat on. Sirens wailed in the distance. New York's indifferent symphony. As I slid down, visions of our first kiss blurring with the crimson tide. How had we gone from stolen glances in a Greenwich Village coffee shop to this? A betrayal so sharp it carved deeper than steel. But that was the end. Or maybe just the beginning of unraveling it all. The rain hadn't let up since that muggy July afternoon when Harry first walked into the bean counter, shaking droplets from his dark curls like a puppy fresh from a puddle. I was behind the counter, 25 and already jaded by the parade of hipsters nursing their oat milk lattes, dreaming of a life beyond steaming espresso and minimum wage. New York chewed you up and spat you out, but Harry, he looked like the kind of storm that could sweep you away clean. Double shot. Black. No frills, he said, his voice carrying that easy Midwestern lilt, the kind that made vowels stretch like taffy. His eyes, hazel flecked with gold, locked onto mine, and for a split second, the world narrowed to just us. The hiss of the machine, the steam curling like a secret between us. I handed him the cup, our fingers brushing electric, accidental, inevitable. On the house, I muttered, cheeks burning under his grin. First-time offender discount. He laughed, low and warm, leaning on the counter like we'd known each other forever. Chris, right? Saw your name tag. I'm Harry. Just moved here from Ohio. Chasing the dream. You know? Actor. Writer. Whatever pays the rent. That was Harry in a nutshell. Boundless optimism wrapped in faded Levi's and a thrift store leather jacket that smelled faintly of cigarette smoke and possibility. We talked for an hour after my shift, the shop emptying around us like a stage clearing for our private show. He confessed his folks back in Cleveland didn't get the big city itch, especially not with a son who wrote plays about boys loving boys in ways that made church ladies clutch their pearls. I nodded, spilling my own guts. Foster kid bounced around Jersey suburbs, out at 16, scraping by on barista gigs and night classes at NYU. By the time we stumbled out into the village's neon haze, the rain had stopped, leaving the air thick with promise. He kissed me under a street lamp, tentative at first, then hungry, like he'd been starving for it. This city's a beast, he whispered against my lips. But with you, feels like home. We fell hard and fast. The way only 20-somethings in love can, reckless, all-consuming. Mornings tangled in my tiny walk-up on Bleecker Street, his head on my chest as sunlight filtered through fire escape bars. Afternoons wandering the High Line, hands brushing in that not-quite accidental way that sent sparks up my spine. Evenings at off-Broadway dives where he'd read his scripts, voice cracking on lines about forbidden desire, and I'd cheer loudest, heart swelling with pride. Harry's writing was raw, electric, stories of queer kids navigating Rust Belt heartlands, finding solace in each other's arms amid shotgun weddings and Sunday sermons. It's me, up there, he'd say after a show, buzzed on cheap beer, pulling me into shadowed corners for reaffirming kisses. But it's us now, too. You make it real. I believed him. God, how I believed him. We built a rhythm. My steady shifts funding his additions, his wild dreams pulling me from my own inertia. For the first time, I felt seen, not the damaged foster reject, but Chris, the guy who could quote Ginsberg and brew the perfect pour-over. But cracks spiderwebbed early, if I'd paid attention. His phone would buzz at odd hours, screen lighting up with texts he dismissed as agents. Late nights at networking parties in lofts uptown, coming home reeking of gin and cologne that wasn't his. It's the game, babe, he'd murmur, collapsing into bed, arms slung heavy over my waist. Gotta play to win. I let it slide, chalking it up to the city's grind. We were in love. Love forgave the fog. Until the fog thickened into something toxic. Started with a callback, a big one, or so he said. Some indie director scouting talent for a film festival short about a gay couple's road trip from NYC to San Francisco. This could be it. Chris. He beamed over takeout pad thai, eyes alight like I'd never seen. Exposure. Real money. We could get out of this shoebox. Maybe even sublet something with a view. I raised my glass, plastic cup of boxed wine, to his. To fractured bonds mending into gold. He clinked, but his smile faltered. Just a flicker. Yeah. To us. The shoot was in Jersey. A week on location. I drove him to the PATH station at dawn, kissing him sloppy through the car window as commuters jostled past. Call me, I said, throat tight. Every night. Promise. He winked, backpack slung over one shoulder, vanishing into the crowd like a ghost. The first call came that evening, his voice tinny over spotty signal. It's intense here. Lines to memorize. Chemistry reads. Miss you like hell. We talked for hours, or what felt like it, until my battery died mid-laugh. By day 3, the calls shortened. Rehearsing late, he'd text, followed by a heart emoji that felt increasingly hollow. I drowned the worry in double shifts, the shop's chatter a numb buzz. Friends noticed. My roommate Jax, a drag queen moonlighting as a barback, cornered me one night over greasy diner fries. You're fading, honey, she said, filing her nails neon pink. Harry's out there slaying, and you're here wilting like yesterday's rose. What's the tea? I shrugged, forcing a grin. Just the distance. He'll be back Friday. It'll be fine. Friday came, but Harry didn't. A voicemail at midnight. Slight delay. Reshoots. Love you. I paced the apartment, floorboards creaking under bare feet, staring at the rumpled sheets that still held his scent. By Sunday, panic clawed in, texts unread, calls straight to voicemail. Jax dragged me to a club in Hell's Kitchen. Thumping bass and strobe lights meant to distract. But every shirtless dancer on the floor twisted the knife. Was he out there, too, losing himself in someone else's arms? Monday morning, I called the production office, a dingy number from his initial email. The line crackled. Then a board assistant. Yeah, Harry Klein, he rapped Friday. Said something about heading to the city. The drive back from Jersey was a blur, windshield wipers slashing like accusations. I found him in our bed, tangled with a stranger, tall, blonde, all sharp cheekbones and trust fund ease. The director turned out. Networking, Harry gasped when I burst in, door slamming like thunder. The blonde bolted, pants half-zipped, leaving us in shattered silence. You promised, I whispered, voice cracking as tears burned hot. Every night, his face crumpled, hazel eyes pleading. It was one time, Chris. The pressure. He offered the role, said it was part of the deal. I thought of us, the future, us. I laughed, bitter and broken. This is us? Blood on the sheets from how deep you cut. He reached for me, but I recoiled, the room spinning. That night, we screamed until hoarse, words like shrapnel. Liar, user, desperate. By dawn, he was gone, duffel in hand, murmuring apologies that tasted like ash. I need space to figure this out. For the art. For me, the door clicked shut, and with it, the first fracture in my soul. But love, that stubborn bastard, doesn't die easy. Festers, waits for the next storm. Weeks blurred into a gray haze. The bean counter became my confessional, customers unwitting priests as I frothed milk with mechanical precision. Jack's staged interventions, boozy brunches where she'd recount her own heartbreaks, wild tales of lovers who ghosted mid-orgasm. Darlin', men like Harry, they're shooting stars, beautiful, but they burn out fast. Find your moon, steady and full, I tried. Swiped right on apps, flirted with a cute graphic designer over IPAs at a Williamsburg taproom. But his touch felt wrong. Echoes of Harry's calluses from scribbling scripts. Nights alone, I'd scroll his socials, staged selfies from LA Now, chasing sunsets and stories, captions dripping with faux profundity. No tags for me, no traces of the life we'd sketched together. Then, the letter arrived. Handwritten, on yellowed stationery that smelled of his aftershave, sandalwood and regret. Postmarked from some nowhere motel in New Mexico. Chris, I'm a coward. A selfish prick who chased shadows and left you in the dark. That night, it wasn't the role. It was me, breaking under the weight of wanting it all. Fame, validation, you. But I see now, I can't have it without you. Come find me. Room 7, Desert Rose Inn. Let's rewrite this ending. Harry. My hands shook as I folded it, heart hammering like a trapped bird. Jax found me staring at the wall, letter clutched like a grenade. Go, she said simply, pushing a road trip playlist onto my phone. Or burn it. But don't haunt yourself here. I chose the road. Packed a bag, gassed up my beat-up Civic, and pointed west. The Holland Tunnel spat me into the sprawl of I-80, Jersey's refineries giving way to Pennsylvania's rolling hills. Podcasts droned, queer icons spilling truths about love's sharp edges. But my mind replayed us. Lazy Sundays in bed, his fingers tracing tattoos on my ribs, whispering futures we'd never claim. Ohio blurred past, cornfields whispering secrets I'd ignored. Harry's hometown, where he'd learned to hide his heart under flannel and football cheers. I detoured once, pulled over at a rest stop to text, on my way. Don't run again. No reply, but the read receipt glowed like hope. By Tulsa, doubt crept in, storm clouds mirroring my mood, thunder rumbling low. What if he was gone? What if the letter was another script? Lines for a fool, but the pull was magnetic, inexorable. Love, even fractured, demands reckoning. New Mexico dawned dusty and vast, horizons stretching like unanswered prayers. The Desert Rose Inn squatted off Route 66, Neon sign flickering vacancy, like a siren's call. Room 7's door hung ajar, light spilling gold onto cracked pavement. I knocked, breath held. Harry! Silence. Then his voice, rough as gravel. Chris? God. You came. He looked wrecked, unshaven. I shadowed. Scripts scattered like fallen leaves. We collided in the doorway, arms wrapping fierce, tears mingling with the dust on his cheek. I'm sorry, he breathed into my neck, body trembling. So damn sorry. We tumbled inside, door slamming shut on the world. Clothes shed in a frenzy, not lust but desperation, reclaiming what betrayal had stolen. His mouth on mine tasted of salt and second chances, hands mapping scars we'd both inflicted. I love you, he gasped between kisses. Always have. That blonde? A ghost. You're my anchor. I wanted to believe. Let his words stitch the wounds. We talked till dawn, sprawled on threadbare sheets, unraveling the mess. His ambition, a beast he'd fed at our expense. My insecurities, walls I'd built too high. We'll do it different, he vowed, fingers laced with mine. Together. Additions in LA, but you by my side. No more secrets. By noon, we were on the road east, his head on my shoulder as the desert faded. New York welcomed us with open arms, or so I thought. The skyline loomed, a promise of reinvention. But promises, like bonds, can snap under pressure. Back in the city, we rebuilt with the fervor of survivors. Harry landed a gig, small, but steady as a barista too, at a spot in Soho that catered to the theater crowd. Symmetry, he joked, tying on an apron identical to mine. Our shifts synced when possible, evenings free for walks along the Hudson, where the river's gleam mirrored tentative peace. We moved to a one-bedroom in the East Village, walls papered with his rejection letters turned talismans. Fuel, he'd say, pinning another beside my NYU acceptance from years back. Nights, we'd cook, pasta Alfredo from a shared recipe, wine loosening tongues for deeper confessions. He admitted the betrayal's root, a director's whisper in his ear. Prove your commitment, twisting ambition into something sordid. I shared my foster ghosts, nights huddled in group homes, fearing love's impermanence. You're my forever, I'd murmur, tracing his jaw. And in those moments, with jazz drifting from a corner speaker and his laugh vibrating against my skin, I believed it. Fall painted the city gold, leaves crunching underfoot as we navigated coupledom's rhythms. Pride banners lingered from summer, a reminder of the worlds we'd clawed into. Harry's script, fractured bonds, our story, sanitized for stage, got a reading at a queer theater co-op. I sat front row, heart in throat, as he poured us into monologues of longing and loss. The applause thundered, director's eyes gleaming. This has legs, Harry. Festival potential. After, at a dive bar celebration, he pulled me aside, breath warm on my ear. Couldn't have written it without you. My muse, my heart. We made love in the alley behind the bar, urgent and shadowed, city hum our soundtrack. Felt like victory, betrayal scar fading to a faint line. But scars itch when ignored. Winter bit hard, snow blanketing stoops in white silence. Harry's callbacks multiplied, pulling him to cold reads in glass towers where suits eyed him like meat. It's different now, he'd assure, kissing my temple before vanishing into subways. No games. Just the work. I nodded, but unease gnawed. My own dreams stirred. Nights studying for finals. Essays on American lit that bled our tale into footnotes. Jax, ever the oracle, hosted a Yule bash in her drag den, tinsel draped and eggnog spiked. To resilient queers, she toasted, eyeing Harry across the room, where he charmed a producer with that megawatt smile. Later, buzzed and bold, I cornered him in the kitchen. You're shining tonight. Don't eclipse us. His brow furrowed, hand cupping my face. Never, Chris. You're the sun. I'm just orbiting. We left early, tumbling into bed with laughter and heat, bodies sinking like old habit. But Dawn brought a text from an unknown number. Tell your boy to watch his step. Secrets don't stay buried in this town. I deleted it, chalking it up to wrong number spite. Harry slept on, peaceful, unaware. Spring thawed the chill, cherry blossoms dusting Washington Square like confetti. We picnicked there one April Sunday, sandwiches and stolen kisses amid buskers' tunes. Let's make it official, he said suddenly, pulling a velvet box from his jacket. Cheap rings, silver bands etched with infinity loops. My breath caught. Harry, marry me? Not legal yet, but in our world. Vows, rings, the works. Tears pricked as I slipped it on, the metal cool against fevered skin. Yes. God. Yes. The ceremony was DIY, Jax officiating in full diva regalia. Friends crammed into our apartment, fairy lights twinkling like stars. We exchanged handwritten vows, mine promising to hold his wild heart steady, his swearing to cherish my quiet strength. Sealed with a kiss that tasted of forever. Honeymoon was a weekend in the Catskills, cabin rented on a whim. We hiked trails slick with mud, fucked on flannel blankets by crackling fires, whispered plans for a life unbound. LA in the fall? He mused, head on my lap as rain pattered the roof. If the script sells, you could transfer credits, build something there. I hesitated, fingers in his curls. NYU's my anchor. But for us, yeah, back in the city, momentum built. Fractured bonds snagged a slot at Fringe Fest. Posters plastered on lampposts with our faces stylized in ink. Him brooding, me hopeful. Opening night, house packed, energy electric. Harry's performance gutted me anew. Raw vulnerability in every line, the betrayal scene a mirror to our pain. Curtain call, roses at his feet. He dedicated it to the man who mended me. Applause crashed like waves. I stood, chest bursting, as he leaped from stage to pull me into the spotlight. Reviews glowed. A queer triumph. Klein and his muse capture love's jagged beauty. Offers trickled in agents, pilots, a web series gig. Harry bloomed, confidence a new skin. But bloom hides rot. Late June, I found the emails. Laptop left open on the kitchen table, screen glowing accusatory. Thread with the producer from Jax's party. Can't wait for round 2. Your husband clueless? Let's keep it that way. My stomach plummeted. Dates back to winter. Flirtations escalating to hotel bookings during auditions. The blonde director? Ancient history. This was fresh betrayal, woven into our rebuilt trust. Confrontation exploded that evening. He walked in whistling, takeout bags swinging, to find me at the table, printouts fanned like evidence. Chris? What's? How long? My voice was steel, hands trembling. Since the Yule party? Or before? His face drained of color, bags hitting the floor with wet thuds. It's not God, babe. It's nothing. Networking. Favors for the play. Favors. I hurled the emails, pages fluttering like wounded birds. You vowed forever. Harry. Rings. Promises. Lies. He sank to his knees, tears carving tracks. I was scared. The pressure. You're steady, Chris, but I needed the edge, the validation. It meant nothing. Nothing. Laughter choked out. Hysterical. You gutted us again. For what? A callback? Spotlight scraps. We raged through the night. Furniture toppled. Voices echoing off walls till neighbors banged brooms. By midnight, he was packing, eyes red-rimmed. I love you. But maybe. Space again. To fix me. Fix. I spat. Ring yanked off and tossed at his feet. You're a black hole, Harry. Swallowing everything good. He left at dawn. Cab idling below as I watched from the window. Heart fracturing anew. The apartment echoed empty. Rings mocking from the floor. Jax found me days later, curled fetal amid pizza boxes. Evict the ghost. Love. He's not worth the rent in your soul, but eviction's a lie. Love lingers, haunts. I threw myself into finals. A's earned through all-nighters fueled by spite. Graduated in a cap and gown that felt like armor. Diploma clutched as shield. Summer sweltered. City a steam bath. Harry's play ran its extension. Reviews turning mixed. Klein's fire dims without his spark. He texted sporadically, miss you. Therapy starts Monday. I blocked him, but unblocked in weak moments, reading between lines. Then, the call from his agent, voice clipped. Harry's in trouble. Overdose. Bellevue. He listed you as emergency. The hospital reeked of bleach and despair, fluorescents buzzing like flies. I found him in a curtained bay, foredripped and hollow-cheeked, monitors beeping steady. Chris, he rasped, hand reaching feeble. Didn't mean. The pills, the booze. After you, it all caved, guilt twisted, but anger held. You did this. Chased highs till the crash. Why call me? You're home, he whispered, tears spilling. Only one who sees the wreckage. Doctors stabilized him. Psych eval pending. I sat vigil, hand in his, memories warring with resolve. Release day, he begged. Come to LA with me. Fresh start. Rehab first. I swear. Against sanity. I agreed. Packed the Civic again. This time westbound with his ghost beside me. Route 66 unspooled. Deserts mocking our fragility. We talked, raw, unfiltered, his addictions rooted in Ohio shame. My walls from lost kin. We're both broken, he said. Sunset gilding his profile. But together, kintsugi. Gold in the cracks. LA sprawled golden. Palm-fringed promise. We checked him into outpatient. Rented a studio in Silver Lake, hills rolling like waves. Days. My barista hunt. His group sessions. Nights. Tentative touches rebuilding trust. Slow and sacred. For a month, it held. He wrote. A new script. Mended fractures. Us as redemption arc. I enrolled online. Lit classes virtual bridges. but temptation's a serpent in paradise. Party invite industry mixer in the hills. Just networking, he promised. Eyes earnest. Sober ride home. I nodded, but insomnia gripped. Midnight text. Staying late. Love you. Dawn brought silence. I drove Mulholland, heart pounding, to the address, a mansion aglow with excess. Music thumped, bodies spilling onto lawns. Inside, I wove through glitterati, dread coiling. Found him in a powder room, lines of white on marble, a producer's hand on his thigh. Harry, he startled, powder vanishing in a flush. Chris, it's not, the producer smirked, slinking out. We fled to the car, silence deafening. One slip, he sobbed, head in hands. The pull. I fought, but slips kill, I roared, tires screeching onto the freeway. You swore, rehab, vows, ashes now, back at the studio, he pleaded on knees. Don't leave. I need you to save me. Save yourself, I whispered, packing swift. Door shut, engine roared, eastbound alone, LA shrinking in rearview. Months passed in a blur. New York embraced me cooler, Jax's hugs fierce. I landed a publishing internship, words my solace. Harry's texts pleaded, then faded. Fractured bonds closed, whispers of his spiral in trades. Winter again, snow falling soft. A package arrived, manuscript, his handwriting shaky. For you. Our truth. I read it through tears. Our love, unvarnished betrayals, redemptions, the blood we'd spilled. Ending open, humanistic plea, love isn't perfection. It's choosing the mess daily. My phone buzzed, his number. In Ohio. Clean 90 days. Come home? I stared at the snow. Heart a battlefield. Forgiveness or final fracture. Ohio in January is a frozen purgatory. Winds howling off Lake Erie like banshees, stripping bare any illusions of warmth. I drove through it anyway, the Civic's heater wheezing defiance against the chill that seeped bone deep. Harry's call had come at 2 a.m. Voice stripped raw. I'm at Mom's. Sober, but drowning. Need you, Chris. Not to save me, to remind me why. I'd hung up, paced the East Village apartment till floorboards groaned protest. Dawn found me packing scarf, thermoses of coffee, the manuscript clutched like a talisman. Jax saw me off at Penn Station, Amtrak ticket in hand, her hug fierce with warnings. Don't be a doormat, sugar. Love's a two-way street, not a cul-de-sac. The train rattled west, windows frosting over as suburbs gave way to farmlands dusted white. I read his script again, lines blurring with tears. Scenes of us, not sanitized but scarred. The alley betrayal a metaphor for self-sabotage. My road trip forgiveness a fragile bridge. Humanity's in the flaws. The dedication read. Ours, unbreakable if we dare. Cleveland loomed gray. Skyline squat against overcast skies. Harry's family home squatted on a cul-de-sac in Parma. A ranch-style relic with faded siding and a mailbox monogrammed Klein. I pulled up at dusk. Porch light flickering welcome. Heart hammering like a drum solo. The door opened before I knocked. His mom, Ellen, face lined with worry and quiet grace. Christopher, she said, pulling me into a hug that smelled of pot roast and lavender. Midwestern to her core, she'd thawed to me over sporadic calls, even after the rings and ruptures. He's out back. Been waiting. The yard backed onto woods. A fire pit ringed with Adirondack chairs snow-dusted. Harry sat there, bundled in a parka too big for his frame, flames crackling low. He looked smaller, cheeks hollowed from clean living, eyes clear but haunted. "You came," he breathed, standing slow, like movement might shatter him. I nodded, throat tight, dropping my bag in the snow. For answers. Not absolution. We sat, silence thick as the smoke curling skyward. He poked the fire, sparks dancing like fleeting hopes. "Therapy's brutal," he started, voice steady. Unpacked it all, Dad's belt for my softness, Mom's Bible-thumping silence. The city amplified it, shine bright or burn out. You were my light, Chris, but I dimmed us both chasing spotlights. I listened, embers glowing our faces orange. His words wove a tapestry of pain. First crushes hidden in high school lockers, the escape to NYU that mirrored my own, only to find the world wider but no kinder. The betrayals? Not about you. About proving I deserved love. By any means. And now, I asked, voice cracking. Deserve it still? His hand found mine across the armrest. Calluses rough from chopping wood, his sober chore, he called it. Working on it. AA meetings in the basement. Writing letters to ghosts. Mom's cooking real food, not takeout lies. Ellen called us in for dinner, meatloaf, mashed potatoes heaped like clouds. The table was awkward at first, silverware clinking accusations, but she steered with gentle probes. My internship, his recovery journal. Harry laughed, a real one, rusty but genuine, at her story of him as a kid, staging puppet shows of nights kissing nights. Bed was the guest room, twin pushed against mine for space that felt vast. We didn't touch, but his presence hummed electric, current recharging. Sleep came fitful, dreams of alleys and blood mingling with firelight warmth. Mornings blurred into routine, coffee black, walks along ice trails where he'd point out boyhood hides, tree forts where he'd scripted his escape. Afternoons, we'd write, me editing his pages on my laptop, him reading my essays aloud with actor's flair. Evenings, Ellen's puzzles by the hearth, her quiet acceptance a balm. One night, after her bedtime creak, he knocked soft. Can we talk? Really talk? We ended up in the garage, his old bike propped like a relic, air thick with oil and memory. I wrote you a letter, he said, pulling an envelope from his pocket, creased, thumbed raw. Not pretty, but true. I read by flashlight beam. Apologies etched deep, not for acts but patterns, running when cornered, seeking highs in highs. I love you not for fixing me, but for seeing the man beneath the mess. If you'll have me, let's build slow. No spotlights, just us. Tears hit the page, ink blooming. It's not enough, I whispered, handing it back. Words are cheap, Harry. Show me, he nodded, eyes glistening. Then stay. A week, a month. See if the man matches the script. I stayed. Days stretched, snow melting to mud that sucked at boots like doubt. We volunteered at the local LGBTQ center, him facilitating teen writing workshops, voice cracking on shares of hidden loves, me tutoring lit, quoting Baldwin to wide-eyed kids who saw themselves in lines. Watching him connect, vulnerable and real, chipped at my walls. A relapse scare hit mid-February. Craving clawing after a bad callback Zoom. Bottle eyed from the shelf. He confessed at dawn, shaking in my arms. Called my sponsor. Walked it off. But fuck, Chris, it nearly won. I held tighter, heartbeat sinking. It didn't. You're winning now. Intimacy crept back slow. A hand on my back during movie night, his pick, broke back. Tears shared silent. Forehead kisses after nightmares. By month's end, the twin beds merged. Bodies curling tentative, not fire, but ember glow. Spring teased green shoots as I prepared to leave. Come back east, I said one morning. Pancakes sizzling. Rebuild there. Therapy. Additions grounded. He hesitated. Fork midway. What if I can't? The pull west. Then stay here. I cut in. Plate clattering. But choose. Harry. Us or the chase. He chose us. Packed his life's fragments into boxes. Mom's teary hug at the door. Bring him home happy. Christopher. The drive east was cathartic. Stops at diners for pie and promises. Radio crooning Springsteen anthems of working-class hearts. New York thawed too. Cherry blossoms defiant. We reclaimed the East Village studio. Walls repapered with fresh dreams. Summer hummed with normalcy. My publishing grind. His off-Broadway understudy gig. Small stage. Big heart. We hosted barbecues on the fire escape. Jacks toasting to mended fractures. With rainbow jello shots. But normalcy's fragile veneer. August brought the offer. Lead in a streaming series. Queer drama set in LA. 6 months, he said over dinner. Eyes alight. We could go together, you remote work. We nest in Echo Park. Doubt flickered. Together? No secrets. Swear on us. Ring slipped back on. Silver warm now. We went. LA's sprawl welcomed with sun-soaked ease. Hikes in Griffith Park. Scripts read poolside. My freelance editing bloomed. His dailies electric. Parties tested. But he navigated clean, hand in mine. This is my +1. My everything. Fall leaves turned in my mind as filming wrapped early. Acclaim murmurs. Awards buzz. Stay? He begged one night. Hollywood Hills twinkling below our rental. Build here. The city's us now. I wavered. NYU ghosts calling. East is roots. Balance it. Tension simmered. Small slights. Late calls. Cast bonding drinks. A tabloid whisper, co-star chemistry rumors. Stung like salt. November chilled relations. I flew solo to NYC for Thanksgiving. Jax's table a confessional. He's slipping, I admitted over turkey. The shine's pulling again. She squeezed my hand. Pull harder. Or let go. Back west. Confrontation brewed. Found him at a rap party. Too close to the co-star. Laughs too intimate. Touches lingering. Harry. He followed me out. Rain rare LA mercy lashing. It's nothing. Publicity. Bullshit. I roared. Shoving him against the car. Patterns repeat. Choose. He crumpled. Rain mingling tears. You. Always you. But the fear. Losing it all. Then lose me, I said. Voice breaking. Door slammed. Taillights red streaks in the storm. Hotel that night. Alone. I stared at the ceiling. Heart a war zone. His knock came at 3 a.m. Soaked. Desperate. Don't. Please. I'm checking into inpatient. For real this time. Stay till I'm out. I let him in, arms wrapping despite the ache. One more chance. Last. Rehab was a sterile limbo, visits through plexiglass. His resolve hardening. Out in December, clean-eyed, he proposed again, not rings, but a pact, east or west, together. No chases. We chose hybrid NYC base, LA jaunts. New Year's Eve, ball dropping in Times Square. His kiss sealed it to unbreakable bonds, but fate laughs at pacts. Spring brought the call, his mom, voice quavering, cancer. Stage 4. Come home, Ohio again, this time shadowed. Ellen frail in her kitchen, Harry's hand steady on hers. We rallied hospice shifts, my stories read aloud to distract pain. His writing turned elegiac, scenes of love enduring loss. Summer waned, her breath shallowing. Final night, she gripped us both. You boys. Fixed each other. Don't break now, she slipped at dawn. Peaceful. Funeral was small, rain pattering graveside. Harry shattered in my arms, sobs wrenching. She saw us. Loved us despite. We healed slow. Back in NYC, grief a shared weight. His series renewed, but grounded. No more alone, he vowed. Fall deep in bonds. One crisp October eve, walking the high bridge, he stopped, eyes fierce. Marry me proper. Legal now. Make it stick. Kneeling in leaves. Ring offered, gold this time, etched with kintsugi. Yes, I choked, pulling him up. Wedding was June. Rooftop in the village, Jack's MC. Friends toasting resilience. Vows echoed our fractures. In breaks and mends, I choose you. Honeymoon in Provincetown. Waves crashing like applause. Life settled. My editor role. His Broadway whisper campaign. Betrayal scarred, but gold-veined. Yet, in quiet moments, I wondered, how many fractures before shatter? 2 years married, and the fractures felt like history, faint lines in porcelain, beautiful in their imperfection. Harry's Broadway debut in a revival of Angels in America was the pinnacle. Tony whispers, sold-out houses, critics hailing his prior as a revelation of queer endurance. I sat opening night, third row center, heart swelling as he embodied Kushner's fury and fragility, his eyes finding mine in the footlights like a lifeline. After party at the Polo Lounge, upscale, star-studded, he was magnetic, anecdotes flying, laughter booming. I nursed a soda water, content in the glow, until a producer sidled up. Silver Fox, Armani Sharp. Your husband's a force. Care to join us for late-night revisions? My suites got the best view. Harry deflected smooth, arm around my waist. Appreciate it, but my leading man awaits. We escape to our suite, collapsing in giggles and grapples. City lights winking approval. Success cascaded. Film offers, podcast deals, a book contract for his memoirs, shattered stages, a queer actor's reckoning. I co-edited, our lives woven into pages of raw truth. This is catharsis, he said, signing the advance check over dinner at Peter Luger Steak Rare, like our early days. No more hiding. We're the story now. Parenthood crept in whispers. After Ellen's passing, we talked adoption, foster echoes for me, redemption arc for him. Agency visits, home studies, nerve-wracking, hopeful. Imagine, he'd muse, pacing our now two-bedroom in Brooklyn. A kid with your eyes. My dramatic flair. Approval came swift. A boy. 6. Tousled brown hair and wary hazel eyes. Tommy bounced like I had, but with a laugh that cracked us open. First night, he clutched my shirt, whispering fears. Harry sang lullabies off-key, voice trembling. Family, he mouthed over the monitor, tears shining. Life bloomed domestic, school runs in the Prius, bedtime stories blending Goodnight Moon with script snippets. Tommy thrived art classes where he'd draw us as superheroes, capes fluttering. Holidays glowed. Hanukkah candles, my nod to lost heritage. Christmas trees strung with his mom's ornaments. But under the idol, tremors. Harry's schedule ballooned. Press junkets. Table reads coast to coast. Quick trip, he'd say, kissing Tommy's curls. Daddy's home by bedtime. I'd nod, masking the twinge. Tommy's questions stung. When's Daddy back? He promised dinosaurs. Delays piled. Weather. Reshoots. One more meeting. Calls grew sparse. Texts wrote. Alone with Tommy's crayons scattered. Doubt slithered back. Familiar serpent. A weekend in the Hamptons, gifted by his agent, was bomb. Beachcombing. Tommy building sandcastles. Harry and I stealing kisses behind dunes, salt on skin. This, he sighed, head on my chest under stars, is the real spotlight. Back in Brooklyn, storm brewed. Tommy's school play, bit part as a tree, but monumental. Harry promised front row. Night of theater packed with proud parents. Seat empty beside me. Text at intermission. Stuck in traffic from LGA. Tell him I love him. Jack's babysitting post-show. Spilled over wine. Saw his Insta story LA pool party. Timestamped noon. Honey. Patterns. Heart leaden. I confronted via video call. His hotel room backdrop. Smile faltering. Babe. The flight diverted. Emergency rewrite. Stop. Voice steal. I held up the screenshot. Tommy cried. Harry cried for a daddy who chose scripts over saplings. Silence stretched. His face crumpling pixelated. I fucked up. Again. The pull, its addiction. Still. Fame's the drug now. Get home, I demanded. Or lose us. He did red-eye, landing haggard at dawn. Airport reunion was raw, arms fierce, tears public. Tommy forgave with a hug. I, tentative. Therapy resumed, couples now, digging deeper. His sponsor warned, success amplifies shadows. We set boundaries. No solo trips over a week. Family veto on gigs. Held. Fragile peace. Tommy's 7th birthday. Dino-themed. Backyard bounce house. Saw Harry direct the chaos. Roaring T-Rex to our son's delight. Best dad. Tommy beamed. Cake frosting mustache. Summer idol. Cape Cod rental. Lobster boils. Bonfires where Harry spun ghost stories. Tommy shrieking glee. One night, waves lapping. He pulled me aside. You're my anchor. Still. Without you, I drift to wreckage. Kisses deepened. Bodies rediscovering in the guest cottage. Slow. Reverent. Reclaiming. Forever, he whispered. Dawn painting us gold. Fall brought harvest. Book launch at Strand. Lines snaking blocks. Readings excerpted our lows. Betrayals bared brave. Drawing sobs. Applause. Q&A. A fan asked, "How'd you survive the breaks?" Harry glanced my way, voice thick, "By choosing mend over end." Every day. Awards season glittered, Emmy nod for the series, Tony afterglow. Red carpets. Me tuxed beside him, Tommy waving from green rooms. "My men," he'd caption photos, hearts emoji cascade. But glamour's double-edged. A Vanity Fair profile loomed, deep dive. The Klein enigma. Interviewer. A sharp-eyed journalist named Riley. Probe gentle at first. Craft. Queer rep. Then, personal. Your husband's the steady force. Ever resent the spotlight's pull? Harry laughed it off on tape. But later, over takeout, got under my skin. Like he saw the fraud. "You're no fraud," I soothed, but seed planted. Profile dropped pre-Emmys. Glowing, but laced. Klein's charisma masks a restless soul, one that chafed early bonds. Quotes twisted, my anonymized words weaponized. After-party fallout. Harry drunk-dialed his publicist at 2 a.m., ranting spins. I found him on the balcony, city sprawl mocking. "They see through me, Chris. The breaks, they're winning. They're scars," I countered, pulling him inside. Stories, not sentences. Emmy's night. He won. Speech a tearjerker. Thanks to mentors, fans, the family that gold-leafed my cracks. Camera pan to us. Tommy beaming on my lap. High faded fast. Post-win tour Tokyo. London. Coasts blurring. 2 weeks, he promised at JFK. Tommy's school project deadline loomed. I waved solo. Call sporadic. Jet lag killing me. Texts emoji only. A week in. Tabloid ping, Klein cozies with co-star in Tokyo tea house. Grainy photo. Arms linked. Smiles intimate. Heart fractured fresh. Called. Voicemail. Text. Explain. Reply. Publicity stunt. Call soon. Stunt my ass. Jack stormed over. Wine in for. Evict him. Chris. Tommy deserves whole, but whole's illusion. He returned contrite. Flowers. Apologies. Therapy double booked. The co-star? Flirt for headlines. Swear. Trust thinned. Threadbare. Holidays strained. Thanksgiving with Jax's chosen family. His seat empty for reshoots. Christmas. He arrived Christmas Eve. Gifts wrapped hasty. Tommy's eyes dimmed. Daddy late again. New Year dawned resolve. Family sabbatical, he announced. 6 months off. Us first. Relief flooded. Tentative. We retreated to the Catskills cabin. Snowed in. Board games. Cocoa by fires. Tommy built forts. We rebuilt. Nights talking till embers died. Bodies healing slow. Spring thawed us too. Back in Brooklyn, he auditioned local community theater. Small but soulful. Book tour domestic. Readings in Jersey. Signings with Tommy doodling beside. Summer promised reset. Family camping in Adirondacks. Tents pitched under stars. One night, loons calling. He confessed by firelight. The win. Terrified. What if success means losing you again? Then we redefine it, I said, hand in his. Together, idol shattered August Eve. Call from his agent. Congrats. Lead in Spielberg flick. Oscar bait. Ecstasy ward dread. LA shoot. For months, Tommy's face fell. Mine mirrored. Family clause. I pushed. Negotiating, he assured, but eyes gleamed hungry. Shoot started. Delays piled. Visits squeezed me flying west with Tommy. Hotel life jarring. Set tours thrilled him, but home videos showed strain. Bedtime stories via FaceTime. His yawns masking. 2 months in. The leak. Set photos. Him and female lead in steamy clinch. Publicity. Again. But whispers from crew offset chemistry. Late nights. Call stormed. Truth. Harry. It's the role, he insisted. Voice edged. Method. Immersing. Immersing in lies? Accusation flew. Line went dead. He came home unannounced, haggard, script in hand. Reading break. Needed you. Reunion raw fights. Fucks. Fragile peace. End the shoot early, I begged. Can't. Contract. But promise? Rap? Then hiatus. Permanent. Rap party pics hit feeds, him. Arm around lead. Caption onset magic. Heart iced. Final confrontation. Airport shuttle idling. Choose. Harry. Us or the magic? You are the magic, he pleaded, kissing fierce. Wait for me. I waited. Months stretched. Calls cooling. Tommy's questions sharpened. Is Daddy coming for my birthday? Birthday came. He didn't. Flight canceled. Gift arrived. DHL watch. Inscribed time with you is eternity. Rage boiled. I packed his things. Boxes labeled fractures unmended. Text. Don't come back. We're done. His reply, please. One talk. He arrived days later. Cab disgorging him at our stoop. Disheveled. Eyes wild. Tommy hugged brief. Sensing storm, I sent him to Jax's. Living room battlefield. Scripts shredded. Rings hurled. You chose again, I roared. Every time. The pull wins. It's not. He started. But broke. Sobbing. I know. The immersion. Blurred lines. One kiss. Off script. But it was nothing. Everything. Knife from block. Kitchen arguments prop. Flashed in my hand. Not threat but desperation. You cut us deep, Harry. Deeper than this. He lunged, wrestling it away. Blade nicked my arm. Shallow but searing. Blood welled, dripping to hardwood, pooling slow. Accusatory. Time froze. His face horror-struck. Chris, God. No. Sirens he'd called. Panic button hit. Ambulance wailed. Medics stitching as he confessed to cops. Accident. Fight born. Hospital bed. Bandaged. I stared at him, hollow. Broken. Last warning. Harry. Love's lost if you chase shadows. He nodded. Tears silent. I choose you. Finally. Discharged to silence. He moved out, Jax's couch. Therapy intensive. Co-parenting texts crisp. Pickups. Playdates. Tommy navigated. Wise beyond years. Daddy's fight. But love. Always, I lied. Heart bleeding. Months crawled. Harry's career idled, rehab publicized. Headlines sympathetic. Klein's comeback. From fractures to fortitude. He volunteered at centers. Wrote kids' books on feelings. One rainy November afternoon. Echo of our alley. He knocked. Manuscript in hand. Unbreakable us. Not a script. Our story. For Tommy. And you, if you'll read. I did. Pages trembling. ending humanistic, heroes mending, choosing daily, flaws gold. Forgive, he whispered, rain dripping from curls. Not yet, I said, but door stayed open. Earn it, he did slow. Dinners platonic, Tommy's bridge. Walks where he'd share AA shares, vulnerabilities bared. Spring bloom tentative. One park bench, cherry petals falling. I choose the mess. With you, kiss came soft, testing. Bodies remembered, hearts cautious. Summer saw therapy merge, us rebuilding. No rings yet, but hands held. Fall, Tommy's play again, Harry front row, flowers in lap. Post curtain, he knelt. Second chances? Marry me. For real this time. Tears yes. Wedding small. Brooklyn botanic vows etched scars. In every fracture, I find you stronger. Life post-vow balanced. His indie films. My novel deal echoes of us. Inspired. Tommy's eighth. Family whole. But the alley's blood lingers. Reminder, love's not linear. It's jagged, gold-veined, chosen fierce. Years layered like varnish over cracks. Time's patient artisan. By Tommy's teens, our story was legend, dinner table lore, softened for young ears. Daddies fought dragons, but love slayed them. Harry, ever the dramatist, hammed it up, cape fashioned from dish towels. Tommy rolling eyes but grinning. Brooklyn rooted us deep. Brownstone bought with book royalties. Garden where Ellen's roses thrived defiant. My novel hit lists. Queer memoir meets romance. Blood and bonds. Alley scene fictionalized but raw. Signings brought fans teary. You gave me hope. Harry's career steadied, director now. Helm on a series about foster queer kids finding family. Art imitating us. He'd quip. Daily screened in our den. Tommy critiquing sharp. More heart. Dad. Parenting evolved. School conferences tag-teamed. Braces funded from residuals. Tommy came out at 14, bisexual. Flag pinned proud to backpack. We celebrated with ice cream. Harry's toast. To loving loud. Like we learned the hard way. Challenges lingered. Subtle. Harry's sobriety tested by industry temptations. Rehab anniversaries marked with medallions. Our hands clasped tight. My insecurities flared during his press tours. Old ghosts. I'd confess in bed. His arms fortress. Ghosts banished. He'd murmur. Lovemaking reaffirmation, bodies known. Souls synced. Milestones stacked. Tommy's prom. Us adjusting bow ties. Tears behind tough guy grins. College apps. NYU nod full circle. Drop-off day. Dorm room bunked. Hugs lingered. Call any time. Harry choked. Me nodding mute. Empty nest echoed at first. Dinners for two. Rediscovering date nights. Jazz clubs in the village. Hands across linen. Still sparks? He'd tease. Foot nudging mine. Wildfire? I'd reply. Homeward cabs urgent. Grandkids came unexpected. Tommy's partner. Alex. Announcing over Zoom. Pregnant. Surrogate route. Joy cascaded. Baby showers. Brooklyn bashes. Little Mia arrived pink and wailing. Our first granddaughter. Hazel eyes. Dramatic wails echoing Harry's. Nannying shifts. Harry cooing off-key lullabies. Me reading Goodnight Moon with extra moonglow. Legacy, he said one rocker creak. Mia on his chest. From fractures to this. Aging crept graceful. silver threading his curls, my laugh lines mapping smiles. 60th birthday's twin, vow renewal in the garden, Jack's presiding ancient glam. Vows updated, through decades of breaks and builds, I choose you still, travel beckoned, Italy rambles, gelato smeared, Japan cherry blossoms, petals like our springs. Home anchored, though Thanksgivings with Tommy's crew, Mia's first words, Papa Hawi. The call came quiet autumn. Harry's checkup routine turned dire, prostate. Early, treatable, fear gripped, but resolve steeled, chemo scheduled. Wiggs joked over his pick, fabulous faux hawk. Treatment gauntlet, infusions droning, my hand constant. Tommy flew in, Mia's drawings taped bedside. Fighters, Harry rasped, bald but beaming. Like always, remission dawned spring, scans clean, party planned. Rooftop, village lights twinkling. He raised glass, to surviving the final fracture, but life's plot twists sans warning. Summer hike in the Catskills, our cabin sanctuary, trail slick from storm. Harry ahead, pointing deer, foot slipped, rock slide sudden. I lunged, grabbing his arm, held, but twist wrenched, his cry echoing. R confirmed, break clean, pins set. Lucky, Doc said. We laughed relief, but in the quiet drive home, his whisper, saw it flash, losing you first. Can't fall deep in bonds. Tommy's wedding, simple, Central Park, us walking him aisle, Alex radiant. Vows echoed ours. Choose the mess. Daily. Years flowed. Mia's school plays, Harry's directing mentorships, my second book, writing workshops for foster youth. Retirement whispered, sabbaticals, volunteering abroad. 70th dawned golden, cruise Alaska, glaciers calving like old sheddings. Deckside, bundled, he pulled an envelope, yellowed, familiar. Remember this? The letter that started round 2. I smiled, creases soft. Brought us here, his eyes, still hazel-flecked, held mine. Worth every scar, grandkids multiplied, Mia's brother, then cousins. Holidays chaos, tables groaning, laughter overlapping. One Christmas, fire crackling, Harry read 'Twas the Night Before with flair, littles wrapped. After tuck-ins, wine by tree, best plot twist, he said, head on shoulder. Us, I agreed, kiss lingering. Winters gentled, snow globes shaken, memories stirred. Tommy's first directorial nod, our play, fractured bonds revived. Front row again, hands clasped, tears shared. Ache came gradual, Harry's walk slowed, breath shorter. Check up, heart. Wear and tear, meds managed, but shadows lengthened. Spring, our anniversary 30 years, picnic high line, blanket spread. He unpacked strawberries, champagne flutes. To beginnings, he toasted. And ends, I teased, throat tight. Endless, he replied, ring glinting. Summer waned, energy ebbed. Hospice talk hushed, home our haven. Tommy coordinated, grandkids rotated stories, songs. Mia, now teen, read his scripts aloud, voice steady. Final week, bed by window, leaves turning, gold-veined. I held his hand, morphine soft. Love you, he murmured, eyes distant. From alley blood to this. Perfect. Perfect mess, I whispered, kiss to brow. He slipped at dawn. Peaceful. Rain pattering like applause. Room filled. Family. Friends. Jax's eulogy fierce. Harry Klein. Lover. Fighter. Heart unbreakable. Funeral garden side. Roses blooming defiant. Tommy's words. He taught us. Love's the gold in fractures. Grief tidal, waves crashing. Ebbing slow. I wandered our paths. Village coffee. Brooklyn stoops. Alley now muraled with queer icons, his face stylized among. Writing poured. Final book. Golden fractures. Dedication to Harry, my forever mend. Years post. Grandkids' graduations. My talks on resilient love. Tommy's film. Our story. Oscar nodded. Premiere. I sat front row. His eyes finding mine. For Dad. Aging solo. Content. Jax's Widow Club. Travels with Mia. 80th. Surprise party. Toasts to legacies. One quiet night. Balcony stars. Envelope in lap. His last letter. Unwritten but felt. Choose the mess? Always. Blood once pooled. Warning late. But love? Mended. Gold eternal. In the end, humanistic truth. Fractures don't end stories. They illuminate them.